you always got to have real estate under your belt. Like, businesses come and go, literally businesses come and then they go. But real estate, if you get a really good property, like that literally lasts like literally lifetimes and generations, like literally. I'm 20. It's like, I don't really need to necessarily buy a house for myself, but in terms of investing and parking my money in places where it can grow and also hold equity and also increase in valuation without me necessarily having to do anything, obviously I want to, do that. So that's definitely a part of it. There's always the trifecta. There's real estate, business, and then the stock market.
Hit the lottery, flipping properties, that's my specialty. With no money or no credit, when done properly. Make 5 figures in one deal, ain't no stopping me. Wholesaling real estate, I'm on my grind. Flipping properties, it's all about the bottom line.
What's going on, guys? Kumadeus, and welcome back to another episode of School of Wholesaling. Listen, today I got a special guest with me here. We're going to be talking about investing. Everything that we talk about on this channel is all about real estate investing. But I wanted to bring Sean on today because he's also an investor, except he also specializes in a particular area of investing, which I believe everyone should at least be exposed to. I actually believe that when you make your money in one area, it's good to have a diversifiable way for you to be able to make money grow in more than one way, right? And so diversify your money. That's what I'm getting at here. And so CEO of Sean, that's his handle on Instagram. You can get with him, you can reach out to him. But I want to bring him on here today because I want him to share his story with all of you. You can hear what he's got to share with you, and most importantly, dive into the type of investing that he does. Now, Sean, you're here with me, brother. Welcome to the show. It is a pleasure to have you, man. I'm grateful to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing blessed, man. I can't complain, man. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Glad to have you here. So, Sean, you're an investor. Now,
yeah.
What kind of investing do you specialize in specifically, brother?
Yeah, so for me, it's not particularly, like beginning, it wasn't, my sole focus. My sole focus in the beginning was making money. But, I invest in stocks. Obviously, I just park my money there. It's not really that complicated. For me, in terms of my investing criteria, I just mainly focus on, defense stocks, blue chip companies, the healthcare sector, biotech. And I just like emerging industries and industries that are just going to be lasting for a very long time. And I'm also in business acquisition as well. So I also invest in businesses as well. So I like to diversify my money in that aspect as well.
Dude, that is awesome. That is awesome. And you're 20 years old, right?
Yeah, 20. Yes.
20 years
20
old.
and a half.
Say it again?
I said 20 and a half. You know what I'm saying?
20 and a half. You're almost old enough to drink, man. Almost there. Yo, you are absolutely an inspiration, brother. I remember when we got connected, I was taking a look at everything you were doing. I'm like, wow, this guy's young and he's already like investing and he's killing it in stocks and he's just building his empire right now, brother. So share with us, how did you get into all this, man? I mean, how did this happen for you to be at 20 and a half years old and you're just crushing it as an investor? How did that happen?
Yeah, so that started when I was, again, in high school, because, again, I am 20, so, like, not too long ago, I was in high school back in the old days, you know what I'm saying? So when I was about 17, I was going through the pandemic, it was 2020 around that time, and the pandemic had hit in March, and I was in school, and then it transitioned to us just being at home. So, at home, I was chilling, I was just playing video games and just having fun. I was enjoying, being by myself because I didn't have to go to school, I didn't have to do anything. But eventually it got to a point where going into my senior year, we didn't go into school. I couldn't go to prom. Like all that stuff was pretty much canceled out for me. So that was kind of a bummer. But I also got to a point where I had a friend, very close friend to me. And basically I had a situation with that person, we were really cool. And it got to a point where I think that person betrayed me basically. And let's just say she put me in a situation where I almost got myself killed because it was a whole situation where she was basically lying on my name and stuff like that, and it just got misconstrued and it literally put me in a very bad situation. And I was able to talk my way out of the situation, clear myself out of it. It was a relationship thing. It was one of those things where I'm gonna be honest with you guys, you know what I'm saying? I was 17, I was 18, you know what I'm saying? I was out in these streets a little bit. So I had friends and stuff like that, and I would mess around. But in the particular, I didn't want to mess around with this friend that I have because, you know, she was my friend, you know what I'm saying? I already knew, like, she would literally be the person that called me and be like, my boyfriend, da 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 da. Like, so that was the type of relationship we had. And it got to a point where, you know, she had essentially cheated on her boyfriend with me, but she lied to me that weren't together. So it got me caught up in this whole situation that I didn't want to be in. It was very messy. I had to talk myself out of it with the situation, talk to the guy. He wasn't mad at me anymore. We actually got, you know, we were pretty cool after that situation. And then that friend that I had literally just switched. And it was so detrimental to me because we were friends for 3 years. Like, I've never had, that was the first like long term, when I got to high school at that point, like a really good friendship that lasted that pretty long time. And it was just interesting to see how somebody can switch like that. And it kind of put me in a very low place, you know, so I kind of isolated myself. I had cut off most of the friends that I pretty much had at that time. It was about 10 to 20 friends that I had. I just cut them off, stopped talking to them, and I literally just isolated myself. And I actually started behaving too, because, you know, I was mischievous in school and stuff like that. I would misbehave. I wouldn't do chores and stuff. I actually started doing my chores. I actually started behaving myself. And even my parents were like, "Are you okay? Like, you're actually behaving yourself now. Like, this is actually weird. It's not of your character." And I just started doing everything I was supposed to do, because it was just like, I stopped caring almost. And I channeled all this energy that I had. It was almost like it was a mixture of sadness, but also hatred almost that I had. I'm gonna be real. So I harnessed all of that, and I said, I want to change who I am, right? I want to become something better, because I have to, I'm in senior year, so I have to focus on what's next. And they were pushing college down my throat, like, you should go to college, you should go to college. That was the thought process that I had. But then I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur, right? Because I'm seeing all these other people that are making a lot of money, and I'm like, I want to make a lot of money, because that would be cool. Yeah. And making a lot of money, and this is to all the people that want to be successful, but you don't have you don't have a good motivation. Sometimes you can take anger or how you feel, and turn that into financial freedom for yourself. So take how you feel and turn that into financial freedom. So I literally channeled all the energy that I had into finding a lane, like, for entrepreneurship. And it's funny because, you know, you're in the real estate space too. And the first place that I started in entrepreneurship was actually real estate. When I was 17, I got into wholesaling real estate, and I literally got to the end. I had already closed. I was calling. I was, I had batchleads.com. I had gotten all the leads and stuff like that. I was calling people, you know, cold calling. I got, what's it called? I got one seller that I had closed 30-day contract to actually, you know, find a buyer. I had already got the seller under contract, all that stuff. And then I went to try to find a buyer on Facebook. And, you know, I was 17 at the time, squeaky voice, you know what I'm saying? You could tell I'm young. You could tell I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know I still don't even know how he did it to this day. But when he found out I was young, right, because he could just kind of tell, when it came down to, because it was like the last few days that I had to do the contract and stuff, and he was the last buyer that I could find to actually acquire it and close on the deal. I was supposed to make about $6,000, I think, on that wholesale deal. And he essentially changed the pricing on it in terms of what he wanted to buy it for. So it cuts me out of the deal entirely. So I literally wasn't going to make anything on that deal, like literally zero, down to the penny zero on that thing. And I was like, dang. It sucked. And I couldn't really do anything because I'm 17. So I'm just like, dang, well, I'm gonna have to go through this again because I'm still young. I still sound this way. So it's like, you know what, let me try something else. And then I moved on to e-commerce. And then I tried drop shipping, and I just tried e-commerce. I tried that. It didn't work because I was terrible at marketing. Apparently you need to be a really good marketer for e-commerce and drop shipping. Wasn't good at that. So I was like, what can I do that's no age restriction and there's no marketing or excess skill or requiring other people? What can I do that involves me? And then I went into options trading. And once I got into options trading, I literally learned it. And that's why I say I was in this very tunnel vision point of my life. It literally took me like 4 days to learn how to trade. And then I made 2,000 in 2 weeks after I learned how to trade in 4 days. And then after that, it went to 5. And then eventually I had to make, cut like at least 5 figures before I moved down to Atlanta, which is where I'm at now. And I just, it was just up ever since.
Wow, man. That is an amazing story, by the way, brother. That is an amazing story. I want to unpack something that you mentioned a little earlier when you were sharing about the relationship that you were in, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned where your mental state after that experience, right? It was something that was very, you felt hurt, right? You were in a moment in a state of disempowerment, And what I like about what you did, and how old were you, by the way? Were you 17 when that happened?
17.
At 17 years old, bro, I take my hat off to you, because at 17 years old, how you process something that happened to you and you leveraged it so it became something that happened for you, that is a secret sauce to success.
Oh, for sure.
That is the type of mindset where nothing can get in your way, because when things happen that are unfavorable, you understand and you know how to channel that energy to make it favorable. And so there's a saying that goes turning lemons into lemonade, right? And so that's essentially what you did. And you're at 17 years old, bro. Like that's amazing that you have that thought process, right? And so you took that pain and you turned it into a win by saying, you know what, I want to improve me now. Now I'm focused on me. Now I'm going to improve me. I'm going to get myself up, right? And I love that so much, because so many people actually need to hear that, brother. So many people, we all face challenges in our life. What determines how things are going to end up for us is how we respond to the challenges, right? And so I just wanted to unpack that, man. That's very, very powerful. And so you tried wholesaling real estate. I thought that was really awesome. Do you have any aspirations to get back into real estate now that you have found your lane?
I do plan on getting back into real estate for primarily for tax purposes. I mean, once I get to that's what I have business acquisition for right now, in terms of not only tax purposes in terms of buying something and then offsetting the money that I spent to acquire something and stuff like that, but also cash flowing as well from the business. Also want to get into real estate as well, because you always got to have real estate under your belt. Like, businesses come and go. Literally, businesses come and then they go. But real estate, if you get a really good property, like that literally lasts literally lifetimes and generations, like literally. So I want to get into that for tax purposes and stuff like that, offsetting taxes, do the 1031 exchange, work my way up that way, and then just, what I'm saying, that's how I want to get into real estate. Because I don't really have an aspiration necessarily, because I'm 20. It's like I don't really need to necessarily buy a house for myself. I don't need to do any of that stuff for real. But in terms of investing and parking my money in places where it can grow and also hold equity and also increase in valuation without me necessarily having to do anything, obviously I want to, do that. So that's definitely a part of it. There's always the trifecta. There's real estate, business, and then the stock market. Like those are the three trifectas. So I'm just trying to literally have my feet in all of those. So I'm just doing stocks right now, transitioning into business right now for myself, and then also business acquisition. And then next is going to be for real estate for me. Acquiring land, acquiring real estate. Yeah.
That is awesome. So let's go ahead and unpack stock options, right? So for people who have never heard of options, because I'm familiar with options. Options is like it's a ninja tactic, man. I mean, it's something that most people really don't know, and if they've heard of it, they don't understand it enough to jump into to play, right? And honestly, I just want to say right now, if you don't know what you're doing, I recommend that you do not play options. You can lose a lot of money very quickly playing options, and you can also make a lot of money very, very quickly playing options. But I would love for you to just break down exactly what is stock options and why is it a good vehicle for someone who may be interested in investing in the stock market. Why did you go with options versus traditional stock market investing? Could you break that down a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So if you're obviously buying stocks and stuff like that, right? So let's just say there's a company that we're all familiar with, Apple. We all have iPhones. Apple's company, let's just say Apple's company is $150, right? If I buy one share, right? So one portion of Apple's company, which is a share, right? It costs $150. If I buy it for $150 and it goes up to $151 and I sell it at $151, I make $1 profit, right? So that's trading. That's what essentially trading stocks is. I'm just buying it and then selling. That's all trading is. Trading, the definition of trading is just exchange of value, buying and selling something, or selling something and then buying it back later, right? That's all trading is. If you have sneakers, right? You can buy them for $100 and sell them for $200. You're trading sneakers, you're reselling them, right? So that's essentially what trading is. Yeah. That's an example most people understand. But I say that's stocks is a little bit easier to calculate, because it's like, you buy it for 150, sell it for 161, like 151, right? That's an easy, I make $1, cut and clear. Options is more so it's basically the same exact thing. The only difference is there are other factors that play into it. So for example, if I get an options contract, right? So an options contract itself has 100 shares of a company. So if Apple stock is $150, an options contract, if the price is at 150, right? I get 100 shares. So I can borrow 100 shares of Apple's company. So that's $15,000 worth of their stock in one options contract that I might spend only $100, $200, $300 on, right? So it exponentially gives you more leverage and it gives you more control in terms of how much you can actually like basically use. So look at it like this. So if your audience most likely is real estate, right? So they're very in-depth and familiar with this, right? So let's just say, for example, with a FHA loan, right? You can take out an FHA loan and by only have to put down maybe 3.5%, 4%, 5%, right? But you can control a $400,000, $500,000 property, but you're only putting down what? 5 figures to control 6 figures. That's what options essentially is. You're putting less up to control more, right? In the attempt to either bet on the market going up or bet on the market going down, and therefore increasing the amount of money you make. That's always the objective, right? So it just, all options is just increasing your leverage, but it's still betting on whether or not the market's going to go up or down, right? So if I bet, I'm trying to give another example because I love giving analogies that people can connect to, right? So let's just say there's, the Golden State Warriors versus the Lakers, right? Basketball teams. If I bet that Golden State Warriors is going to win, right? Then if they win, I'm right and I'm correct. Therefore, I get paid from that. So, right, that's sports betting, right? But if I bet that the Warriors win and they lose, then I lose on that. That's basically what it is. I'm betting on one thing happening over another, right? With options, it's the same thing. If I'm betting on the stock going up, right, I'll buy call options, right? It's called a call option. I'm betting on the market going up. And if it goes up, I make money. If it goes down, I lose money. But the goal is because literally it's 50-50. The probabilities are 50-50 when you do it. And most people they just get it super confused because it's like, oh, well, I could make a whole bunch of money with it, but I can also lose a lot. Yeah, that's just a part of the game. It's increasing risk, but also increasing the reward. For me, when I first started, it was because I was 17 at the time. Like this whole financial market, economic stuff, I didn't really understand it. All I did know was understanding the company, understanding what a good company looks like. Why would a company go up in value or why would a company go down in value? I picked a company, it was called Neo, that I had traded at first. When I picked the company, it was at the options contract that I bought was $580, right? I said within a month, it's probably going to increase in value, most likely, right? So basically what that looks like is, so let's just say the company is really good. Let's just say the company's at $45, right? And I think that it's going to be really good. Like it's going to make a lot of money. It's going to increase in value and it's going to be better, right? Based on, let's say it had a great amount of sales this month. Let's say it had great revenue this month, right? I can check those things and say, bet, I think the market's going to go up, or I think the price of this is going to go from $45 to $49, right? I make that bet. I place the options call, bet. Now I just let it sit and then wait and see what the market does. As more good news comes out about the company's valuation went up, and therefore the share prices went up. So it went from $45 to $49, and then from $49 to $54, then $55, then $56, then $57. And I think I sold it at $66. So I turned $580 into $2,041, right? It exponential. I 4x my money in about 2 weeks because I was correct on the direction. That's all it is.
Wow.
Trading options is literally just betting on direction. That's it.
So let's definitely dive a little deeper into this, right?
Yeah.
And so if somebody wanted to get started with options, and of course, they're going to do the first thing, they're going to get educated, right? They're going to go learn about options. But if somebody wanted to get started and they wanted to know, well, how much money do I really need to be able to set a floor for myself and then grow? Ready to transform your real estate wholesaling business? Join my 5-day Close Your Deal Challenge and learn the high converting marketing principles that will skyrocket your business. From business foundation to closing deals efficiently, you'll master the secrets of wholesaling success. You don't want to miss out. Sign up right now and get in the room. right? So you did that first option trade for $580. Was that the money that you spent on it, right? And you got back $2,000, right? That is a dramatic, like ROI is like off the charts, right?
Yeah.
and then you did it in 2 weeks. The money just sat there in the account for a little while, and then you were able to sell it off later. And so share with us, what type of realistic amount of money should somebody approach options with?
Yeah, realistically, I recommend people always to have at least, $500 to $1,000, because $1,000, and it depends on what type of trades you're taking. So for me, I took one trade, right? So I wasn't day trading or anything. I took one trade. It was a swing. It's called a swing trade, right? You're holding it more than a day, meaning you're holding the contract longer than a day. That's a swing trade. So I purchased a options contract that was a month out, right? And NEO stock also was very cheap at the time, right? So it was about $5.80 a share. Remember I said there's 100 shares. So $5.80 times 100 is $580. That's what I paid for the options contract, right? So that's pretty for a month out. That's actually pretty cheap, right? For a month out, right? There's always options. There's literally options contracts you can buy if you're day trading that might only cost $70 to buy or $80 to buy, right? It just depends on what you're trading, right? So if you're starting out and you're trying to swing trade, you might only need, maybe depending on what you're trading, $500 to $1,000. If you're day trading, I always recommend you have at least 1,000, only because you're taking multiple trades, right? So if, for example, going back to real estate, if you have, let's just say you have $100,000 let's say you have $100,000 and you're trying to buy as many properties as you can, right? If you have $100,000 and let's say you have to put a down payment of $20,000 on 5 different properties, right? Now your money is spread across 5 different properties, so you only have 5. If you have, let's say you have 150,000, right? 50,000 more. Now you can buy 2 more properties than you would have if you only had 100,000. So the more that you have, the more houses you can buy with trading. The more money that you have, the more options contract you can buy, right? So that's why I say always having more, because the less money you have, the less chances you have to make a mistake. Because if I buy one contract and I lose, and then I lose money, that's taking away at my principal. The amount that principal, as in the amount that I set in there at first. So if I set $1,000 in there first, and now it goes down to $900, now I only have $900 to play with. So it's like the more that you have, the better. But I always recommend always having at least 1,000, at least.
That's solid. That's solid, brother. Solid. And so, how did you learn this, man? I mean, are you self-taught? Did you end up getting a mentor somewhere down the road, or did you just really just research? How did this come to be where you was able to do that option trade, man, and just make that money? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I started. It was literally December 25th that I started learning this stuff. I told my parents to give me a course on trading or something. Just give me a course on it because I needed to learn it. And they gave me enough money to get Wall Street Trappers course. And it didn't even teach me options. It taught me about stock market investing. That's why I actually did a swing trade, because it's more oriented for that, right? But I had to learn options on my own. So I learned about the stock market. I learned about investing. I learned about understanding a company from the course, but I learned how to trade options just from YouTube. I literally just went on YouTube and that's why it be killing me, because people be coming to me all the time like, oh, how do I set up this? How do I set up my account? I don't want to make this mistake. And I'm like, I figured it out in a day. It wasn't that hard. I literally just went on YouTube, just researched and literally just typed in what I needed to know. And I just answered the question. And even for me at 17, I can't open up my own account because I wasn't old enough to do it, because I had to be 18. I was turning 18 in January 10th. It was December 25th. So I wasn't 18 yet. I had my dad open up an account, and I just put my money into the account and then did it like that. And then I still placed the trade and I still made the money. So it's just I just figured it out. It's most people, they ask too many questions. They have so many things in their mind, but it's just figure it out. And even if you make a mistake, you can change it quickly. It's not like it's a financial thing. It's literally just looking it up. I literally looked it up. I figured out how to use the platform in a day. I figured out how to trade options in a day. And then I figured out a strategy to trade the money that I have in a day. That's why it took 4 days. It took me 4 days, 1 day to go through the course, 1 day to set up my account and stuff and hit up my dad and have him make an account for me. Then researching the company that I wanted to pick, and then just placing the trade. That's really it.
That's amazing, brother. That is amazing. I love your story so much, man. There's so much to unpack here. Another thing I want to just kind of shed some light on. I don't want to glaze over it, man, because I think it's important. We have a lot of young listeners listening as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people in their 20s, 17, just like how the age you were when you got started, who are stepping into real estate. But what I want to spend some time on is your, like, how you did what you did, man. I mean, first off, I just want to say your parents are very supportive. That's amazing. That is a blessing, right? But the thing, though, is that you went to them and you asked them to help you, right? And I think that is in our community, that doesn't happen enough, right?
And it still didn't really happen. Like, it was like supportive, and I didn't mean to cut you off, my bad. I was just saying, like, because my parents, like, my biological father, right? He wanted me to, because he was an entrepreneur. He wanted me to get into entrepreneurship. But my mom, my stepdad, they wanted me more so to go to college. They wanted me to do the college route because that's what they knew and that's what they did. The only reason that I was even gotten the course is because my dad got me the course. My biological dad got me the course for me. They didn't, it was just more so like, I told them, I was like, I don't want shoes. I don't want clothes. I don't want anything. I don't want a video game. Don't give me any of that stuff. I just want this. This is all I want, literally. And because I wasn't going to accept they knew I wasn't going to accept anything else because of the place that I am, because of the mindset that I was. And they wanted me to do it just because, but they still thought, oh, well, he's going to do this stuff, but he's also still going to go to college. And I didn't want to go.
So it sounds like the message that you were able to convey to your parents is that you are committed to this, right? Because I believe, look, I'm a father of two, right? And so I understand it from both sides of the spectrum. I was also, when I was very young, 23 years old, when I was 18, 17 years old, I didn't want to do. My parents was also pushing school on me. I went to college the first time, dropped out. It wasn't for me, right? But as also looking at it from the perspective of a parent, you want the best for your children, right? Yeah. And so what I'm getting from your story here is that you were committed, like you were able to actually translate to your parents, like, hey, you don't got to buy me none of this stuff. I don't care about nothing else. Just give me this. And what that tells me as a parent, if my kids ever tell me anything like that, like, I don't want nothing else but this, I know they are committed to it, and I'm gonna be supportive of it, right? And so I think that's a huge nugget for all of the young listeners who want to get into some sort of entrepreneurship, who want to get into starting a business, but they need help, right? They need help from either a parent or guardian, a friend, and they need to be able to convey that they're serious. Because here's the big challenge I see for many young people, and I had this challenge too when I was very young. And you actually touched on this, right? Yeah. When you were doing real estate, you said, "Well, I'm 17, squeaky voice. People don't believe me." When I go to somebody's house and I'm attempting to wholesale their house, and I'm telling them I can buy the house, they don't believe me, right? Yeah. People try to take advantage. And so what I'm getting at is you were able to convey that you were 100% committed, that you were serious, which created belief in your parents. You get what I'm saying? And that's what got them on board. And so I absolutely love that, because I feel like there's something there for someone who's listening right now, who is young, who's ambitious, and they need support, and they need a way to be able to translate that and actually get the support and win the support over. So I absolutely love that, brother. So tell me really quickly. So I know you're trading. You do a lot of trading, right? Yeah. Aside from the trading that you do in your business, you are also helping other people, and especially young people. You're helping a lot of young people get started with this, right? And so talk about that. Talk about some of the things you're doing there.
Yeah, so right now my focus is literally just not creating more me's, but creating people that are better than me, creating people that are, younger than me or around my age that are far succeeding me and stuff like that. It was actually when I first started trading, I had only made, I think it was at a time where because I made the 2000, and then I literally started, my friend I had somebody reached out to me on Instagram asking to learn, and I was like, you know what, why not? And I told him how to do it, and I had just made 5,000, and he made 6. Like he made 6,000 before I even made 6,000. Like I taught him how to make money faster than me, and I was like, dang. And it's like it's kind of like thing of like, dang, that sucks. But then it's like, dang, that's awesome. Like it's like it was this weird place. But it's like I just started, teaching it. I just loved it because it was like I loved putting people on. I love like that one person at school is just like you putting everybody on like, oh, you gotta listen to this song or you gotta listen to this. It's like Mr. Put You On was like the best feeling for me. It's like because you could say, oh, I don't know if it was I think it was a partially ego thing, but it's also partially like a thing of just I like genuinely helping people. I like genuinely seeing people win, especially around my age. Like it's because it inspires me. Because if like it's one thing if you're helping like I love helping adults, but I love helping kids more because first off, I'm helping you learn something that now you can take over to somewhere else, and also we're going to be growing together anyway. Because when you get to this mindset and you have the mindset that I have, it's like you just start like it's almost like you're in a it's weird. It's like and it sounds so weird. It's like you're in a whole place on your own. If you feel so isolated and you feel by yourself. But as I'm teaching this stuff to other people, it's like I'm building a community outside of it. So now not only are we just trading, but we're also doing other things. I got friends that do real estate. I got friends that got e-learning companies. I got friends that, also do business acquisition with me. I got friends that do credit. It's like I have a collection of friends, but it's like I'm just focused on adding value to other people. And it's just a mindset shift, that kind of has to happen. And most kids can't really do it. Well, not can't. I won't say can't. It's very difficult it's difficult for everybody to like get to that mindset where you can just kind of just, all right, now I'm focused on this, or now I want to pursue this, because it requires you, and going back to what I was talking about with my parents, they weren't totally sold on me just doing options like full time, like just doing an entrepreneurship full time. They weren't sold on it. I had to, and I was actually upset with them because I was like, why aren't you teaching me about taxes? Why aren't you teaching me about getting a mortgage? Why aren't you teaching me about like the economy? Why aren't you teaching me about all this stuff? Like, and they were like, bro, most kids at your age don't ask for that. They don't care. And I'm like, we should. And then that's when my shifts happened where I just said, and this is another thing too. If you're stubborn as a child, you have such an advantage to children that just behave. You have so much, you have such an advantage because in entrepreneurship, you have to go against the grain. You have to you have to be able to say no. You have to be able to go against what the normalities are because you're literally becoming the 1%, and the 1% doesn't do what the 99% do. Because if everybody's doing the same thing and everybody's doing what they're supposed to, it's like you're not doing something that is outside of the normal, and you're not going to get it. You can't do normal things and get an extraordinary outcome. You just can't. The reason I'm in this place now is because I'm willing to say no. I'm willing to turn certain things down. I'm willing to push the needle in different areas that I need to. Even with like, there was like, oh, you need to go to college. I'm like, no, I'm gonna figure this thing out with options. When I had the situation with my friend that did me wrong, I was like, the whole objective was I was 17. I'm petty. I'm a child. I'm like, I'm right. I'm gonna make a lot of money so I can rub it in your face. Literally. And that's actually what I did. I was at like 9K, I think, or something like that I had made in a couple months. And then I had bumped into her when I was at it's called, and you'll see this too, it's called Tanger Outlets. It's in Maryland. I bumped into there and I was like, hey, and I was thinking about it. I was literally sitting there like, all right, am I gonna be petty and walk up to her? Or am I just gonna walk by? And I was like, I need to walk up to her. I need to see her face. And I literally told her everything that I was like had going on. And it got to a point where she was literally tearing up. Because I told her, because this is what I said, I'm doing all this stuff right now. And I said, I just want to thank you. Because without you turning your back on me and without you doing me wrong, I would never be able to do what I'm doing right now. I would never been able to make this much money. I would have never been put in this position where I'm locking in and focusing. Thank you. And I said, thank you. And after I said that, she started tearing up and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, I got so excited. And it sounds so messed up, but it's like, that's just real. Like, because in the place that I was doing it from was a place of revenge. Like the best revenge is massive success. That's just my belief. Like turning all that, because if you don't use your emotion, it's going to use you. Right. Yes. The reason we have suicide, the reason we have all these different things going on, where we have depression, all these things. It's because these kids and these people and these adults are letting their emotion use them. I'm like, screw that. I'm just going to use all this and do something good with it. Even if it comes off a certain way, even if people don't understand, it doesn't matter. It's like, I'm going to do something productive with however I feel, no matter if I feel good or if I feel bad. I'm going to still use it because I have control over that. There's some people keep trying to control stuff that they have no control over, but it doesn't help them in the end.
Oh, bro, that is fire, bro. That is amazing. Use your emotions or emotions will use you. And I just want to say, like, the way you handle that with your friend, that is called being an adult. Okay. All right. That's called being mature. All right. Like, thanking someone. See, it's easy for us as human beings, man, because of how we are programmed from society to want to seek revenge and do it in an angry kind of way, right? You took that energy and you created success out of it. And then when you had an opportunity to actually meet and see the person again, you told them thank you. You showed gratitude, bro. Like, do you know how many people would have just been rubbing it in their face like, I told you so, right? Instead, you said thank you. And so that just goes to show that everything that happens to us, it doesn't happen to us, it happens for us, right? And in a way, I could tell you got an anointing on you, bro. You got an anointing on you. You're going to do some amazing things. You're just getting started. You're 20 years old, bro. 20 and a half years old, okay? You're just getting started. What you're going to be doing in this world, I can tell, man, is going to be absolutely extraordinary. And God is preparing you for that, man. And so I'm going to be watching you as you go through this journey and seeing where you're going to be at and what the things you're going to be doing. And I'm very supportive of everything that you're doing because you're focusing in on the young people. Our future is on your shoulders, right? The leaders of today are not going to be here to see you. They're not going to be here to see me when we are at our prime, right? Your 50s, your 40s, when you're at your prime, when you're really truly dominating life, you are going to be doing something that is like just impacting on a very large scale, right? And so everything that you do, helping other young people shift their mindset, helping other young people, become entrepreneurs, be successful, whether that's through trading, whether it's through real estate. I mean, there's a million different things we can do in the entrepreneurship, which is why I love entrepreneurship. However, our ability to help the young people get their mind right at an early age is what's going to determine how things are going to end up for us as a society later on, bro. So I love the fact that you came to a point in your life very early where you realize, you know what, this is working for me, but I can also help the next person, and I love helping the next person. So real quick, this has been an absolutely amazing conversation, but I would love to keep this conversation going. I want to know more. I got more questions and everything like that, but I want to be respectful of your time because I know you probably got more trades to do right now.
Oh no, I'm done for today. Yeah, it's 3. I'm market close at 4. I'm done. Yeah, so we good. It's up to you.
I gotta chuckle at that because trading is one of those things where if you want to work just 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, make your money for the week, you can, right? And so I love that. So how can people get in contact with you if somebody wanted to learn how to start trading, right? And they wanted to reach out to you. Do you have anything available? Do you have like a course? Do you have like a book or anything like that people can tap into with you?
Yeah. So I literally just made an update to the course that I have right now. And the course basically teaches, how to trade options, obviously. It gives you my strategy that I use right now. The one thing I do like, because again, I like giving analogies and stuff like that. So every step of the way, I always give an analogy, connecting it to something that you understand, which actually speeds up the process of people learning, because people typically take forever to learn something, especially when it comes to this. And I like to shorten it as much as possible. And I also teach people actually how to get funding to actually start trading too, because most people, they don't have a lot of money and trading requires capital. So I literally show people how to get funding and how to use it properly and manage their risk in my course as well. But if you don't have the money for the course, that's actually fine, because I actually host I literally host free classes where I teach this stuff every single week. anyway. So again, if you want to tap in with me, again, every single class that I do is free. And I also do it. You can reach out to me on CEO Sean on Instagram, TikTok, on Facebook, on everything pretty much. So CEO ASHON on all platforms.
Awesome. And I'll be sure to include that in the description in the video below for all of my people who are watching this on YouTube, and everyone who's watching this on or who's listening to this on the podcast. Definitely tap in with my man Sean. He's absolutely crushing it. 20 years old, young, and he is a boss. That's why his name starts with CEO in the front of it, because that's what you are, my brother. You are a young king. And there's a lot of amazing things I can tell that are going to happen for you, man. You're just getting started, bro. So tap in with him. Go to CEO Sean on Instagram. Tap in with him. Check him out. And yeah, this has definitely been an amazing time, my brother. And of course, if you want to learn how to get started with real estate, you already know where to go. You can go to SOWcontent.com for that, and I can help you get started with real estate. Now, I do want to say one last thing to you, brother. This is just going back to your story. Since you got started with real estate hosting in the beginning, you were 17 back then. Now you're 20, right? If you ever want to go back through that, if you ever want to do it again, right? This is between me and you here, right? You always can listen. This is between me, all right? If you ever want to go through this again, man, I got your back, bro. If you want to do a deal, let me help you with it. Because I mean, you have an aspiration to get into real estate and invest anyway. So if that's something you ever want to explore, let me know, brother. I got you.
Bet, let's get it.
Brother, listen, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for blessing the people on this amazing podcast. This is my boy, CEO Sean Bennett. And until next time, I'm Luke Medeiros, and I'll see y'all later. Au revoir.
All right, y'all.